Now that your Smokeless Range software has been installed, watch this brief video to learn how to use your new Smokeless Range. The Smokeless Range installer will have placed 4 new icons on your desktop: the Smokeless Range software, Smokeless Range Help, DF Series Camera, and CLI Test. The CLI Test can be deleted. That's part of the camera driver software. To do that, just right-click on the icon and select Delete and say Yes. Before we open the software, let's go ahead and plug in our laser tracking camera. Plug the camera's USB plug into an open USB 2.0 port on your computer. Now you can see here that the little pop-up is coming up telling me that it's installing the driver for the camera. So we'll give it a minute and let it finish installing that driver. On some computers this can take just a minute. Okay, and now it's got a pop-up here to tell us that it's correctly installed. So you can go ahead and click the X to make that pop-up go away. Next, what we want to do is make sure that you turn off any antivirus software or set an allowance in your antivirus software firewall for the Smokeless Range. Some antivirus have a game mode that will allow games like the Smokeless Range to launch just fine without blocking it. The next thing we need to do is make sure that our desktop resolution is set to a minimum of 1280 by 720 to ensure the games all show correctly. So to do that, you just right-click anywhere on the desktop and choose Screen Resolution. Then we look here on the resolution line, and mine is currently set to 1600 by 900, which is above the minimum of 1280 by 720. If you click on that drop down, you'll see here's 1280 by 720 down here, and mine is set to 1600 by 900. So I am set above the minimum resolution. The next thing we want to check is that the displays are set to duplicate these displays. The typical setup for this system is to use a projector or a TV or large monitor, which will typically be set up in conjunction with either your desktop monitor or your laptop monitor. So you'll also want to set up those displays so that you have the same thing showing on both screens. And to do this, you go under the multiple displays here and choose duplicate these displays, which we've already got, and you'll see here 1 and 2 are on top of each other, showing that they're both showing the same thing. So now that I've got my resolution set and duplicate these displays set, I can click OK. So let's start out by aligning and calibrating our laser tracking camera. So we'll go ahead and click on the DF Series camera icon, and now you'll be presented with this telling you that you have a trial and it expires in so many days. And I'm going to go ahead and click Activate. Now if you're online, you'll be able to click right here and enter your security code that came with it, your security code that came with your system. If you're not online, then you can click this box here for Activate Offline, and then what you'll need to do is copy this whole line, and then you'll need to paste that into an email and email that to Laser Ammo, and then they will in turn turn around and provide you back a code which you will then enter in right here and then click Activate, and that'll activate that particular software. But we are online, so I'm going to go ahead and uncheck this and enter in my code. And now that I'm done, I'll go ahead and click Activate. And we have a successful activation. Now we'll go ahead and click Yes and continue on to the calibration. And now you see our camera feed, our live feed. So now we can use this live preview to align our camera. Now I'm using a projector setup, so I've got my projector setting on the floor and my camera sitting either next to or right on top of my projector. Depending on the throw ratio of your projector, you may need to place the camera separately from your projector. Now you want to make sure that you can see your whole projected image. If you have it too close like this, you'll see that you're cutting off the edges of the image. And if you're too far back, then your camera will see a bunch of extra region of interest that's not necessary and will make it less accurate. So we'll want to move it to where I just have enough around the edges here so that I can see the whole projected image. The next thing I'd like to talk about is room lighting. As you can see here, I have a nice uniformly lit image with no hot spots or lights in view. I do have my overhead room light on, but it's not washing out the image at all. I've gone ahead and placed a room lamp in the view of the camera just to give you an idea of what you do not want to see. So you don't want to have any lighting other than your projector or TV in the view of the camera. You also don't want to have any windows in view of the camera during the day or close to the screen so that the sun is shining directly on the projected image, because that can wash the camera out as well. Okay, now that our camera is nicely aligned and our room lighting is correct, we're going to go ahead and perform an auto calibration by clicking the Calibrate button. This is going to project a series of dots on the screen. If it gets hung up and it can't find all the dots and it just keeps repeating, you can just hit the escape key on your keyboard and that'll take you right back to the camera alignment screen. And then you can adjust your lighting and then go back into the calibration process. Now that the calibration is completed, you'll be presented with a test tracking screen. And on this screen you can use this to either test the accuracy or to test the laser on your laser trainer. Now if you noticed an inaccuracy, or if you wanted to just check and see how good a job the auto calibration did at finding all the points, you can come down here and click on the points button. This screen shows where it found each one of the dots. Now looking at all of them were found correctly with the exception of this one in the lower left corner for whatever reason. So all I have to do to adjust this is to highlight. I can either click and drag with the left mouse button, as so, or I can just click on it and highlight it to turn it green, and then I can use the arrow keys to manually walk it over to the corner of this pie-shaped marker. And now that all my points are in the right place, I can go ahead and click points again, and this will take me back to the test tracking where I could recheck the accuracy before I launched into the games. Now we'll cover a manual calibration, and this is handy in case for some reason your auto calibrate can't complete due to lighting that's just a little bit off, or for whatever reason it won't calculate correctly. To do that, you just click on the manual button. Now, this presents you with all 25 dots at the same time, and you're going to start in the upper left corner and just left mouse click, and then you can use the arrows on your keyboard to fine-tune, and in each one of the corners you're going to put it in the tip, and along the edges you're going to place it on the center of the edge, and on the center dots you're going to place it right in the center of the dots. So I'll go through here, it's top to bottom, left to right, and it has to be done in order, and then I'll go through and just select each one of the dots. Okay, now I have all my dots selected, so I'm going to go ahead and click Save, and this will take me to my test tracking screen where again I could test the accuracy, and then if I needed to go back and make any corrections I could go back to points. But now that I'm done and I'm ready to go ahead and launch the tracking and go into the games, I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And that will go ahead and minimize the driver down into the system tray, as you can see here. Now it's time to go ahead and launch our Smokeless Range software. So we'll go over here and double click the Smokeless Range desktop icon. And now you'll be presented with this telling you that you have a trial and it expires in so many days. And I'm going to go ahead and click Activate. Now if you're online, you'll be able to click right here and enter your security code that came with it, your security code that came with your system. If you're not online, then you can click this box here for Activate Offline, and then what you'll need to do is copy this whole line, and then you'll need to paste that into an email and email that to Laser Ammo, and then they will in turn turn around and provide you back a code which you will then enter in right here and then click Activate, and that'll activate that particular software. But we are online, so I'm going to go ahead and uncheck this and enter in my code. And now that I'm done, I'll go ahead and click Activate. And we have a successful activation. Now we'll go ahead and click Yes. So this is your main launcher screen. As you can see here, all of your software is listed here on convenient icons. Underneath each one of the icons you'll see a question mark, and these question marks take you to the user manual for that particular program. So for Bomb Blast, I'll click on the question mark and then I'll get the user manual for the Bomb Blast. And then when I'm done, I can just click down here on Back, and that brings me back to the launcher menu. And lastly, we'll cover how to exit out of your Smokeless Range software. To do so, just simply click on the red X in the upper right hand corner, and then go down to your camera icon and left mouse click and click Exit.